Hi guys, welcome to another unboxing video, and today I have my package here. We are going to unbox a mod kit from SKX, and a quick wristwatch check reveals that I am wearing the Casio G-Shock GM-2100-1 ADR, and that is actually the subject of this video because our mod kit is for this very watch. So I knew when I purchased this watch that I would be modding it with a particular mod kit, and I went on to the SKX website, basically I think the day after I took receipt of my G-Shock, and found what I was looking for. But I made a mistake when I was on the website looking. I found the bracelet and the case style that I wanted, but I couldn't find the all-in-one kit that also featured the rubber bracelets that come in the kit. And I realized later it was because they were at the bottom of the web page underneath the page numbers in the "You Might Also Like" section, which was a bit disappointing because what happened was I got this kit without the rubber bracelets that I wanted, and I have since attempted to purchase the rubber bracelets separately, even though it's a higher price point. But I'm unable to get the transaction processed at SKX because here where I live in Turkey, we just had a major earthquake, and it occurs, it appears that online transactions are not being approved outside of Turkey with Turkish credit cards, which is very disappointing and also very interesting. But evidently, according to Kenneth at SKX, the payment department told him that there's a lot of scammers right now taking advantage of the earthquake. And so for this reason, they're not accepting transactions. So that's a bit disappointing because I'd love to have the rubber bracelets, today, tomorrow, but of course I've been unable to purchase them, and I don't know how long that'll be before they accept Turkish credit cards again. Okay, so here we go. This is, I guess, the work pad that you can use, where you put all your pieces parts on. So inside here we have the whole kit, including the tools that will be needed. And so let's look at the case first. So obviously, in order to have a Casio oak, you have to have a royal oak case. And I chose the black bezel, which is ceramic. Here you can see the underside of it. And I also chose the one that has the crown. Some of the case mods do not actually feature a crown, but I wanted to have a crown just for the aesthetic purpose. It looks more like a watch, and so that's part one here. I also want to build this in real time on this video without doing any editing, so today we'll find out how long it actually takes. Now this is a crystal protector. I haven't seen these in any other videos featuring the mod kits for the Casio, so I suppose this probably fits right on top here. And I don't know if there's an adhesive or what's going on, but I suppose it's maybe to protect the glass of the G-Shock once you put the case on. I'm not exactly sure, but we'll find out. And here we go, the bracelet, which I probably won't adjust this on the video because that'll just be extra time, and I'm not really sure how long this is going to take. I think I have it worked out that it probably won't take that long. They give us two flathead regular screwdrivers, one which is 2 millimeters, and the other which is 1.5 millimeters. And we also have The screws that we'll need in order to connect the case to the 5611 module. We have an Allen wrench tool here, which is for removing the screws that are already from the factory, from G-Shock. So we'll use this to remove the screws first. And we've got another little bag here. This is the pins necessary to attach the bracelet to the case. And there's one more little tool here. Let me use this screwdriver to liberate it. And this tool, I imagine, is probably for pushing the screws out of the bracelet, even though they are screw-in, or it could be for pushing the screws into the rubber bracelet. If you were to have the rubber variant, which I guess is the offshore variant, which I want, you would probably need to use this, because these screw in on the metal bracelet, but they do not screw in. They just push in on the rubber bracelet. So we might not need this, actually. We will see. We'll keep it nearby. All right, so what I will do then is I will flip this over, put this foam pad here for our workspace, and I may as well remove this watch that we're going to mod. So yeah, the G-Shock's really nice. I'm really happy with it. It's my first G-Shock and my first Casio since probably the very first watch I ever had. So that goes back more years than I care to admit here, but I think in my last video when I unboxed this, I admitted that. Okay, so first things first, I suppose the smart thing to do would be to remove the module from the case. And what I can see here is that I actually have to remove the bracelet first, or the straps first. I thought maybe I would just take it all off at one time, but I see it actually you have to remove these first. So again, I want to try to accomplish this mod today without having to do any video edits. So I want to work as quickly as I can. All right, those are off. Now, a little trick that I use whenever I'm afraid about damaging the metal is I just use saran wrap, right? Or I'm sorry, I guess a cling wrap, whatever the generic term is. And in this way, I don't have to worry about damaging the screws or the case. And you see, usually the cling wrap is thin enough and it's working. And you know, you could use like perhaps electrical tape, or maybe electrical tape is too thick, but tape works as well, except that tape isn't nearly as pliable and as flexible as cling wrap. So cling wrap just makes the most sense. And it also has the effect of capturing the screw, so you don't have to worry about it dropping away from you, getting away from you. All right, so I've almost got two of these undone. There we go. There we go, two screws out. Now here you see that there's a silicone gasket that Casio installs. This one came out with the screw. Normally you have to work them out yourself. And I'm going to use the Ziploc baggie that the new screws for the case come in, so that I keep them stored away. Now you see here inside, the gasket is still there. So we want to first remove that. This might be a good use of this tool. Now I'm not using the cling wrap here, but I think I should. There we go. All right, so that's out. And my screw is here. Okay, so 2 screws down and 2 to go. Let me flip over here to the other side. I'm curious to see how difficult it will be to remove this module from this metal case. You know, G-Shock generally has a fairly soft protective outer shell on their G-Shock models that are sort of standard G-Shock models, and it's easy because it's flexible, you know, and you can just literally peel it off like you're removing a latex mask, you know. And of course, this being stainless steel, I am a little concerned as I'm trying to film this in real time. I'm a little concerned that it could be more challenging. All right, so we almost have these other 2 screws out. All right, so that screw's out, but the gasket is still in. And we've got this screw out. Again, remembering to use the cling wrap to protect the case, because this metal bit here has to kind of anchor itself against your case in order to get purchase on the little silicone gasket there. And the cling wrap just prevents any damage to the case. All right, so now those are out. And I'm just putting the rubber gasket back on the screw. I guess it's silicone more than rubber, so that they don't disappear on me. All right, now we have our case without the bracelet and without the screws. So how easy or difficult is it to remove the module from the case? It's the one thing I haven't really seen in these videos. It comes out very easily. In fact, deceptively easy. All right, so there's our case from Casio. I'll clean that up and store that. And here's our module. This does not feature the carbon core. The GM-2100s do not feature the carbon core. However, the GA-2100s do. Just a little bit of information there. Okay, now, it did provide us with the screen protector, so I think I'll go ahead and add that now. I'm just cleaning up the mineral crystal here, and I may as well add it because I think it'd be too difficult to add once I case the thing. There we go. Okay, so all right, so now that's in place, and it looks like I got it in there fairly nicely. I don't know if that's adhesive or what that is. I didn't really check, and I don't really want to mess with it lest I mess it up. Okay, so important part is I plan to wear this on my left wrist, and so I want to make sure that I line it up correctly. And it should click into place. That's apparently important because you want to make sure that the holes for the module case line up with the outer shell case, and we can see that they do there. Look pretty good. Now, we will not be using the gaskets, the red gaskets that I removed. Instead, these screws go in, and they do include 5 screws, so you have 1 extra in case you accidentally lose one, or God forbid, strip one. And that's apparently an important little tip, is not to screw these new screws into the case very firmly and that is because you're dealing with a plastic material and metal screws, so you want to just be careful about that. Okay, so now looks like we'll be using the 1.5 millimeter, and these are regular head screws, so everything is consistent. Now I'm going to pop the screw into the hole, but then I'm going to use the cling wrap again to protect the screw and the case. So you might have to reseat the cling wrap a couple of times just to make sure, because it starts to get twisted up, you know, when you are rotating the screwdriver. And I believe that the best, it's basically not really tight, just sort of hand tight. Make sure that the screw is at least flush and maybe a little bit recessed. When you start to feel resistance, that's probably a good time to stop. You're putting 4 screws in. They're definitely going into the case, so there's no reason really to screw them too tightly. Just doesn't make sense, especially if you plan, like I do, to occasionally go back and forth between the standard case and this kit. The less you probably screw things in and out, the better. And I will obviously discover that. I guess I better do this correctly. There we go. Screw first, cling wrap second. Yeah, looking at the mod kits, it inspires me to go out and buy another one of these, but to buy the GM-2100 3. I don't know if it's ADR, but it's the gunmetal case with the green dial and the green strap, because that would look really nice with the 18 karat rose gold mod that they have. Okay, that's weird. It did not screw in. That was weird. Let's try this again. Because that green and the gold contrast, and really even the yellow gold and the green would look really nice. Or conversely, maybe the blue iteration of the GM-2100 and the yellow gold, that would look really, really nice. Okay, so here I am attempting to screw this in, the second screw, and it doesn't want to go in. So I don't know if this is because I don't have the case in flush enough. But this is why I'm doing it, to sort of like inform you guys about the amount of time that you'd have to set aside to do this and any problems you may encounter. So this is very interesting. I can see the hole is there, but for some reason, okay, so now I'm taking a risk without the cling wrap, which is exactly what I did not want to do. And that's the reason why you don't want to do that. Got to use the cling wrap. Yeah, I don't know why that's not going in. That's very interesting. Okay, well, let's move on to the next one. Yeah, the hole is there. You can clearly see it. I just don't know why it's not screwing in. It's very interesting. I mean, I'm not trying awfully hard to do it, but the first one went in very easily. So one would expect wash, rinse, repeat, right? Yeah, that is really weird. It's not going in. Okay, so I'm going to come back over here. Perhaps putting these other screws in will have the effect of wiggling the case around or something and making it. Making it easier. Yeah, this one's going in just like the first screw did, exactly as it should. Okay, so now I'm using the same screw that I attempted to use in the second hole here on the fourth hole, just to see if it's a matter of the screw itself. Whoops, come on. Screw first, cling wrap second. I don't think these screwdrivers are magnetized. Yeah, they're not magnetized. Okay, now this one's acting like the second hole did, where maybe doesn't want to go in. Okay, it is going in. But it does appear more snug than the other three that have gone in thus far. It feels snug in the sense that the screw head itself feels snug against the holes of this outer case, if that makes sense. All right, now going back to that second hole. I mean, I should get victory now. This should just go in. There's no doubt about it. I'm not going to use the cling wrap because I want to move on to the bracelet. Yeah, already I've rotated this screwdriver more times than the others, and nothing is really happening. You can see there how the head is stuck out. Now, I mean, it's going in, but it's also not in at all. Yeah, it's not in at all. There, it just popped out. So I don't know what that is all about. It's a very interesting development. Oh, but that's why we do these videos. Quality control issue, I'm not really sure. I hope that it's not like a little dirty trick on the part of Casio where they, their screws work, but somebody else's don't. Although that would seem strange because 3 of these have gone in, but I can't really reconcile why this would not be working. The thing is, I'm not even getting purchase on the module case because I'm turning and turning and turning and nothing is happening. So that is a bit disappointing, to say the very least. And I don't know if it's because of the diameter of the screw head. I'm about ready to try this other screw here, the 5th screw that they include in the kit. Yeah, see that looks like it wouldn't even fit inside. No, I stand corrected. It does fit. That is very interesting. So, got a hiccup in this video because I'm unable to move on to the bracelet until I resolve this issue. That is the damnedest thing. It's not working. Yeah, that is a very interesting development. Okay, let me try this fifth screw. I don't imagine that it would make any difference because it would seem to be with the Casio case itself. And yet, the Casio case, all four of these screws, I had to unscrew in order to remove. So it's not like a lack of threading, for example, in the module case. All right, so now here's the fifth screw that they provided me. Yeah, it appears to be that there is a misalignment. And I don't know if it is the fact that the case, I didn't seat it exactly correctly, or maybe I should have started with that hole. Okay, nonetheless, we're going to move on, and I will resolve this off camera, because I'm pretty sure maybe I just have to start over and screw that one in first. All right, so the one thing I'm interested in here is I've seen with other videos from companies that aren't SKX, their bracelets tend to be quite stiff. This is already not the case. I can see that it is very nice. Sort of a butterfly clasp. All right, so let's see. If I close this, the trick is, which way does it go? Okay. All right, so I think this will be our 6 o'clock. Now this is supposed to be fairly painless, installing these screws. They're not spring bars, that's the important thing. They're actually threaded screws, and they give us 4 of them. And they go in a particular direction. I don't think it matters actually on the offshore bracelet, the rubber strap, which direction you put these in, but with the metal bracelet it does matter because the head of the screw is also where the threads are, you see? And so for that reason, one side is threaded and the other is not. All right. And that's screwing in nicely. Again, using my cling wrap just to make sure that I don't actually accidentally pop off the head of the screw and scratch the bracelet. There we go. just get it started and then put the cling wrap in place to protect the side of the bracelet. Which is really nice. It's got these, it's obviously brushed finish basically everywhere, but in between the links, they are high polished. So you get that little pop as you do a wrist roll, for example. Okay, so there we are. Let's go ahead and pop this on the wrist. Now, again, I'm going to try and resolve that screw not seating into the case, and I'll do that off camera. So of course I probably put this on backwards. Something you can't really, unless you use these butterfly clasps with regularity. And now I realize I probably have to reverse that. Okay, so it's quite loose. I have a 7.5-inch wrist, and I'm going to be removing some links. All right, there we go. Yeah, you can see there's a lot of space there. Looks pretty good though. Look at that pop as you do the wrist roll. You can see those articulations are high polished on the inside, not really visible when you look straight on. But there we have it, SKXMOD. I'm hoping I can resolve this screw issue. But thanks for sitting with me patiently. I don't know, that's probably 20 some odd minutes. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get that fourth screw in. I'm just going to take the other three screws out and start with that fourth screw first and see if that does the trick. But please like, share, and subscribe if you like the content. I keep teasing a State of the Collection video, and I think that's probably going to be my next video. We'll just see. But I'm thinking about getting a watch box for all my watches, and I can't decide what size watch box that I need because will it be the 16-piece? Will it be the 20-piece? Will it be the 12-piece? I don't know, because I imagine I'll continue buying watches, and then one box won't be enough. All right, anyway, let me end it here. Thanks for coming out. Cheers, everybody.